Hello, another drive-through with Don here to talk to you about employee evaluations. We find a lot of times employee evaluations are not done at a company, or they're done very quickly, or they're done by somebody that basically gives a very quick, I love this about you, I don't like this about you, work on your communication, and then it's done. And there's not clear action. So I guess I want to share just a couple quick observations. One observation I would have, it's important to do evaluations. People want to be evaluated. They want to know if they're doing great or good or mediocre. If they're not doing great, they may not want to know that. But we do want to know if we're not doing well, and it helps when people share that with us. The other thing I find in evaluations is too often it's the boss saying, here's what I think. The reality is like a boss should say, hey, what do you think about your performance? Because that helps to drive self-awareness. It forces the person to look inside, and there's a lot of things they can share with us that we won't know otherwise. In addition, we want them in the habit of becoming more self-aware. That's part of leadership, I believe, because if people are more self-aware, typically they're more mature, they can be more effective, and they have fewer problems as things happen, and they handle great stuff and poor stuff much, much more effectively. I think the other issue is that I think it's good to have numbers. Where would you rate yourself 1 to 10 on this? Where would you rate yourself 1 to 10 here? Because a lot of times numbers help to crystallize things that are otherwise very fuzzy, and it also gives a point of reference. Hey, last time we talked, you said you were 8 out of 10 on this. You think you're about the same, a little worse, a little better, a lot worse. It also gives you kind of a way to track or a baseline and plotting progress, and I think that's important. And I don't think an evaluation has to take a lot of time, but I think it's very important for it to be something that does bring clarity. And then the last thing I'd like to share is I think there ought to be clarity of 2 or 3 actions that the person takes from that evaluation. It's not better communication. It's every morning at 8 o'clock you talk with Joe for 10 minutes and identify what resources you need to do the job and what the most important customers are to focus on. That to me is very nice and specific. It's a specific, measurable, attainable, agreed upon, reasonable, has a time frame to it, so it's an action. A week later, I or someone else can go to Joe and say, hey, how's this guy doing communicating? Is it going better? Or you can ask them how it's going, or you can observe it. You can go looking for them at 8 o'clock in the morning and see, are they spending that 10 minutes with Joe? So bottom line, I think evaluations are critical. In another video blog, I'll share with you why I don't think you have to do evaluations if you're doing some other things effectively, because then the evaluation just becomes kind of an afterthought or a formalization of what you're kind of doing along the way each week if you're coaching through and during the ball game. So thank you for your time. If you have any need for help on any of this, our phone number is 1-800-786-4332, and my extension is 108.